Ladies and gentlemen, Elliot.
Sorry about that. My mom would kill me if I didn't get a copy of this for her. My story is less about actually leaving home, but what happened to me before I left. I was in Germany with the military, and we were about to be deployed to Iraq. And it was the weekend before we left, and I was just wanting to relax. And how I do that is I go and I see movies. But the theater at the complex that I was at was very small. They played movies that were like 6 months old, and I wanted to see something recent. And at the time, I think it was Red Dragon that was playing at a German theater with German subtitles, so I'd be able to understand it. So I went to Frankfurt, which was like a 2-hour train trip to get there, and I see the movie. I get out. It's about 9 o'clock. I decide I'm gonna go to the internet cafe because I'm a dork. Just going to like surf the internet. And before I know it, it's like 12 in the evening, and the last trains are about to leave. So I leave the internet cafe. I go to McDonald's because I'm starving. I pick up a rib. I pick up a Big Mac. I pick up a giant bag of fries. I pick up like my big bucket of soda, and I'm walking to the train station, and this German couple come up, and they're like really raggedy. They have like clothes piled on top of them, and they start speaking to me in German because since I'm blonde hair and blue eyes, people think, oh, he's German, he's going to understand me. And I'm just kind of like, I'm sorry, he's rocking with the English. And they're like, oh, yes, American, do you have any money? And I'm starving. I'm just looking at my food and my cup, and I'm just like, no. Walk to the train to get to my station, and I'm looking back at it now, and I'm thinking maybe that what happened to me on the train is kind of payback for not giving them my food. But I get on the train, and I'm sitting there, and there's no one there. It's the middle of the night. And go a couple stops, and then this woman gets on the train. She's tall, skinny, attractive, but drunk. She's like, got this Red Bull with like a pink straw coming out, stumbling on the train. She sees me sitting there alone, and she sits across from me, and I was like, ooh, hello. And she's like, hi, and she starts speaking to me in German again. And I went to sprachen Sie English, and she's like, oh, yes, English, fine. And she's like, you're very cute. Can I hold your hand? I was like, sure. And so I gave her my hand, thinking that she's gonna hold my hand, but she just holds her hand out there like a dead fish. And she's just like, thank you. She's just like stroking my hand, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. And she's like, so, what do you do? Or, not what do you do, but like, where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from the States. And all of a sudden, her sweet, compassionate attitude does a 180. And she gets this scowl on her face. And she's just like, you people are horrible. And I'm like, whoa, what did I say? And she's just like, you Americans have so many homeless and they live off of dog food. And I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. And I'm just like trying to pull away, but she's like not letting me take my hand back. So she's like, I want to hold your hand still, but you're just an evil man. And she's like, ah. And so like, I'm just like, okay. And I'm very nervous, and it's the weekend before I leave for Iraq, and I'm being approached by a communist who's saying that like communism is the only way to survive the world, or something like that. And I'm just scared out of my mind, alone on this train. And this is like probably the second or third time that I've taken this train to the movie theater. And so I'm not exactly that familiar with the route. And I'm trying to pull my hand away. And she says, "You Americans killed the greatest man ever lived." And, I don't even have to, hear her say it. I know exactly who she's talking about. And I'm just kind of like, that wasn't me. I'm only 20 years old. Please, can I have my hand back? She's like, no, I like your hand. She's just like, I'm just like, very nervous, and I'm just kind of really wanting to get out of there. And the train station is doing the voiceover thing, telling us what stop we're at, and I'm not recognizing the stops. And I'm just like, oh crap, did I miss my stop? And she's just holding onto my hand and then being very agitated towards me, and I'm just and I finally get my hand away, and she's just laughing at me, and I'm just like, okay, you're laughing, that's good, right? And so I pick up my stuff and I go to the map that's above the door that says where the stops are. She laughs even harder, and she says these 4 words that just, at the time, I was leaving for Iraq, I was going to a war zone, I had no idea what was going to happen to me, and I was scared then, and I was scared for the future, and she just laughs as I'm staring at the map, and I turn to her, and she says, "You're never going home." And it's scary, because I had no idea if I was ever going home. And that's my story.
Those are terrifying words, man. I've never put those words together, but if somebody said them to me, I say that to me. It is scary. Thank you, man.